Solana. We can't talk about altcoins without talking about Solana. So let's take a look. So the last time I spoke about Solana, it was here at the support zone at about $126. We went long on it. It went back to the upside, which made us some gains. And now it's currently back down to $127. So where is Solana headed next? Currently, it's trading below that support zone, which is not ideal, but the markets move and we just have to follow them. This is currently the weekly time frame, so if we switch to the daily time frame, it will give us much more perspective on this stuff. Now, a lot of people will look at this and say, well, this looks like a head and shoulders and it might just fall to the downside right here. And that's possible in crypto, yeah? However, that would be missing the fact that it's actually holding this entire zone right here, while most other altcoins have fallen already. This means that Sol is actually stronger than most other altcoins. I mean, if we go here to the Sol BTC chart, which is what I usually encourage, always look at the Bitcoin pairs of any of your favorite altcoins. You'll see that Solana has been holding up pretty well. Most other altcoins have fallen already from this cliff. Even the Sol to ETH pair is also holding up strongly. So let's go there and you see that Solana is actually holding up pretty well on its Ethereum pair. Again, you could make a case here that this looks like a head and shoulders, but Solana is still holding that. It's a strong altcoin. Well, it's really strong because a lot of people are on Solana gambling every day. And so, they need Sol to do all of their dirty activities. But yeah, it's holding up pretty strong here. Anyway, back to the Sol USDT pair. Where is Sol headed next? Well, if we just look at this particular structure right here, we will find some interesting things. We can't look at the broader picture without looking at this particular structure right here to see if it's going to dump further or we will have a retracement back to the upside. Clear, yes? So we are focusing on this particular structure. What is this telling us? First, we have a very clear ABC right here, and that ABC is part of an A wave, so part of the A wave correction. That A wave correction can be visualized as such. So this right here will just be the A wave. This right here is the B, this is the C, this is the D, and we are in the E. Whether that E is going to be elongated is what we do not know. According to Fibonacci, that elongation of the E should go right into $116 right here, which will be the 1.618. Now that will be retesting this region right here. But again, it's uncertain. Yeah, I've always said the E wave is really uncertain. It's never really certain that we, do that move to the downside right here before the move to the upside. However, the chart does indicate that after this particular move right here, there is a very strong chance that Sol goes right back up to somewhere around $187. So what will we need as some sort of confluence or confirmation for this? Because we might as well be going down here, which is just the abyss, and there is no way that we go back to the upside. So how do we know if we are still going to go back up? Well, let's go back to the weekly time frame right here. And by the way, you should know that the RSI is also undervalued. And I've been warning about this for many other altcoins. Be very careful. Don't get overly bearish, as some people, would suggest online. Because this RSI being here has been the reason why Solana has gone for some meteoric rallies before. So don't get overly bearish. I mean, it was here the last time. That was the 31st of March right here, and that marked the bottom right here. So Sol took off from this particular region. So don't get overly bearish in this marketplace. So on the weekly time frame right here, we do not want to see Solana closing 2 weekly candles below this hour line. Although by Fibonacci, even closing those 2 weekly candles, so long as it's above the 1.618 right here, you would still have a chance of it going back up here because Fibonacci completely obliterates all these lines. it will not really be a good idea or a good thing to see that Sol is closing two weekly candles below this line right here, and the marker there is $131. We don't want to see two weekly candles below this zone right here. However, we'll be updating as time goes on, but just know that Sol could go as low as $116 and perhaps some weeks even lower than that. And then this thing will most likely be going back up to somewhere around 187. 187 being the conservative target. So it's not like that's the highest Sol will do. It will most likely go even far higher than that. But for now, that's just what we can see for Solana.